Hi, Sarah here. I'm just going live today because I want to quickly talk to you about something that I hear from clients all the time, and it's a big worry that I see many homeowners grapple with, and this is how to keep their renovation budget on track. Look, it can't be denied that a home renovation, albeit a big or even a small one, can be a really great way to add value to your home. Look, they can help you increase space if you need more space, and also they can create a more modern look to an older dated house. But it can be really difficult to stick to a budget, and you can even end up blowing it if you don't keep tabs on your costs. And that's the stuff of the horror stories and where a lot of them originate. So, in an effort to help you stay on your budget, I've put together some tips to help you stick to your home renovation budget. Okay, so my first tip is to do your research. Look, a home renovation is not like the TV shows. There's a lot of hard work and planning that goes on behind the scenes that contributes to making it successful. And yes, there's the fun stuff, but there's also some really practical, important stuff that you need to do this successfully. So back to my first tip: do your research. So in order to be able to stick to a renovation budget, it's really important that you have a realistic budget to start with. So you'll need to do some research, and if you're doing a big reno, then you should be looking at maybe some real estate data. Look at sold data, because that's real, not perceived, what people would like to get for their homes. So have a look at newly renovated homes that have sold in your area that are similar in spec to what you want to do, and try and get an idea about what your house as it is might be worth, and that'll start to give you a bit of an idea of what you potentially should be spending on your renovation in order to upgrade your current home. Talk to some builders in your area too who've completed similar projects, and ask them what the construction costs were for that particular home. They might be able to give you a bit of a ballpark just to get you in the range. Look, if you're doing a smaller renovation, then your research should revolve around the realistic cost of materials and even products, as well as the cost of labour. So doing this research will allow you to get a bit of an idea of the cost of your renovations, which will help you make an informed decision as to whether this is something you can actually feasibly afford to do at this point anyway. So my second tip is to get some quotes or cost estimates. So although research is a really important part of estimating your budget, don't just leave it to guesswork. Work with trade professionals, and if you're doing a small project, get written quotes for the work that you wanted to do, so you have a solid cost for all aspects of your renovation. And when you're sourcing quotes too, make sure you get at least 3 quotes from separate businesses, and that'll give you an idea if you're on the right track. If you're doing a larger reno, it's a good idea to get cost estimates from a professional. Could be a builder or a quantity surveyor, something like that, along the way at certain points, to make sure that you're actually on budget. So my third tip is to allow for surprises. We're dealing with renovations here. God only knows what's behind the walls. And look, if there's one thing that we've learned from home renovation shows, or unreality TV, as I like to call it, is that renovations don't always go to plan. In fact, there's very, very rarely come across a renovation where there hasn't been a surprise. So once you've worked out your budget figure, it's a really good idea, and not just an idea, it's really important to have a contingency set aside to act as a buffer for any of these unexpected occurrences or surprises that you need to deal with along the way. And what that percentage is will really depend on what level of renovation you're doing, or just the condition of the house. So you might need as little as 10%, or it could be as much as 25% or more that you really should allow for your contingency. And having this contingency will help you stay within your estimated cost bracket, even if things go a little bit pear-shaped at any point. And look, win-win if you don't have to use it on your renovation. It's money you either have saved or can spend on something fun at the end if you're lucky enough to still have some left over. So my fourth tip is to keep track. The truth about budget blowouts is they typically don't happen overnight. The blowouts usually happen incrementally. So every time you make a decision, a reasonable sized decision, always ask yourself or your professional, your designer, your architect, whoever you're dealing with, what the cost implications of these decisions that you are making. And try and be really diligent about keeping track and adjusting your budget as you go along. So that way you can pick up inconsistencies or overruns early, and then it's much easier to do a quick recalibration and get things back on track. And this will help you keep within your expectations and keep those expectations in line as well. So keep an updated spreadsheet or something about your projected cost, and keep adding information and detail as you progress through your project. And this is one of the most important things to help you stay in control of your outgoing costs, and you'll be less likely then to be tempted into splurging on something that you really don't need, because you're seeing that money being spent in real time. And when you can see all of your expenses right in front of you, you're much less likely to blow your renovation budget. So my last tip is to stick to the plan, and by this I mean changes will cost you, especially when you get on site. So spend the time getting it right while it's still on paper. Changes on site are expensive. So once you've started your renovation, stick to what you originally agreed to. Changes on site during construction often lead to, and usually do lead to, delays and money being spent on extra materials and extra labour, things being redone because, you've changed your mind. So, and deviating from your plan more often than not causes significant impacts on your budget as well. So it's really important to know where to draw the line during changes to your renovation. And the best advice I can give you is to spend the time getting it right while it's still on paper, and test and get 3D visualizations of it if you're not sure what it will look like. I can't stress this enough. So there you have it. There's 5 quick tips to help you stay on budget during your renovation project. Bye for now. Hope that helps.